Well, it's 12:45 now. Out even later this time. Yep, with Minnie. You can't see her very well in the dark because she's black, but yeah. Decided to drive to another part of town this time. I'm getting tired of looking at the old neighborhood. I have to take the dogs out for walks over there now. They got a pig in their yard. Wish I had a pig in my yard. All I got is Minnie, though. Minnie. Minnie. Minch. Minnie. There we go. Yeah. The downtown is right over there, but I didn't want to go downtown and show off street signs and stuff and, dox myself. I might end up doing it anyway on accident, but no, Minnie. No, Minnie. I don't know what that is, but, yeah. I have to, hold on, to walk the dogs every night, and at night, so I don't have to deal with, all the delightful individuals of town being out. And most of the time I just walk around the other neighborhood, so I decided to drive across town, get a change of scenery for once. And yeah, another hot day today though, 90 something degrees. Minnie didn't care, she was outside for most of it. She had a dog door, I didn't put her outside, she's just an anomaly like that. Watching more news, watching somebody making fun of people on the news, I guess you could say. But watching more of the old televangelism stuff. A bunch of idiots making predictions about the future and then making asshats of themselves when it gets proven wrong. Minnie. Hey, Minnie. Maybe you want to get going, Minnie? You need the exercise. Let's go, Minnie. See, Minch here, she has a habit of stopping every 5 seconds to examine the universe. I don't know. See? Doing it again. Minnie. You need to get your cardio in, Minnie. Yeah, but this, funnily enough, is the older part of town. Other neighborhoods I live in now are new, so they're all like plastic. Houses are all plastic and cheap and cardboard. And this is the older part of town, where I used to live when I grew up. All the houses here are built in like the 30s and 40s. A little sturdier back then, probably because they didn't have the cheap plastic they can make stuff out of back then, or at least it wasn't available or what have you. I actually lived a couple of blocks that way. Probably not going to go past my house because it's a bit further out, and I don't think Minnie here has the willpower to go for that long of a walk. And also, I don't want to look like a total creeper. I'll go over there. I might get rained on. When I came out here, it was clear. Stars were out. Now the wind is picking up. Just like Minnie when she sees a barn. So it might not be that long of a walk anyway. Yeah, all the houses here have character now. Over in the other neighborhood, couldn't really tell because all the houses basically look the same. It's like 4 different design patterns they use. The people who built the houses basically put in the minimum amount of effort needed. I think the house that I'm living in is 8 years old now, and there's already sizable cracks in the basement foundation, which I guess it happened anyway, but like, Minnie, there, get him, Minnie. They got away. There was a mini bun, but yeah, I don't know why that place is called Genoa. That's not the name of this town, but that building, it's not the town I'm in, but yeah, I almost worked here. Not in that place, but in the building complex over here. And there's another building complex back over there somewhere. A garden place. I used to work there. Some eerie lighting going on here. And yet Minnie still blends into the ground. No, Minnie, you can't go that way. Can't go walking in people's yards like that, Minnie. It's rude. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I also used to come this way back when I was... Well, not this way, but I came around this way when I was walking home from high school back in the day. Which is almost a decade ago now. Making me feel all old and all that. But yeah, the town's a lot better when it's nighttime. It's like 1 in the morning and there's nobody out. A lot quieter. Come out here in the daytime and you got cars and shit going around. Can't get a moment of peace and quiet. One time I was riding my bike around here somewhere, and this group of kids showed up out of nowhere, and they're like, oh, can you do a wheelie on that thing? Which I can't, for the record. I've never tried, but yeah. I gotta imagine having a house like this. You have a house and right across the street is a business. Like, you're sitting outside on your front porch there chilling, and then right across the street there's like a dozen people on break from whatever it is they do there. And also Minnie. Trying to see who else has been here. What other dogs have been there. Nice driveway. Actually, a lot of these houses are nice. Maybe you could use some work on that one, but... And just come out here in the morning. It's all these people. There's gotta be a lot of traffic too, but... Yeah. These houses might not look like much. I could have a house like this, so... But... And also a bunch of trees there. It's a really strange part of town, I guess. I think it's a devil house. I don't know why that one's a well, I guess that one is too. Whoever built this part of town was a big fan of devil houses, or duplexes, I think they're called. Unless it's something else entirely, I don't know. But yeah. I used to, sometimes I'd walk this way from high school, or I'd go that direction, a couple of blocks that way. This is the place I used to work at. It's a garden place over there. I don't know why I thought it was that way, but very briefly, I think in 2019 I worked there. I just liked the aesthetic of it. It's like a abandoned factory or something from like the 20s. And they remodeled the whole thing, so they got gardening stuff in there. Other side's got like a whole, uh, garden out front. You know, it kind of looks like the campsite, kind of that ruined industrial, overgrown industrial look to it. And I like that aesthetic. So I went and worked there. Got about, I don't want to say 6 months of work there. Wasn't too difficult, but it paid like $8 an hour. And basically, one day I had to get my work hours every day by text message because it's like a small family business or something like that. And I went in there one day, and the person just never texted me back, so I like called them and texted, and just short of actually going in there. A month later, they finally texted me back, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've been busy, so what time are you available this week?" And keep in mind, I was working at Taco Bell also at the time. I had 2 jobs, so I went back to full-time at Taco Bell by that point, because I assumed I was just not working there anymore. The garden place. So, that's how that saga ended. That's a nice little house right there. Now that's a house I could have. The real small one, like 1 bedroom and a couple of other rooms. That's all I think I'd need. But anyway, wasn't that bad to work at, except I had to start at 7 in the morning, and your boy is not a morning person. Like it's 1 a.m. right now. Like, I can stay up late at night. Stay up until like 4 in the morning doing stuff. But you want me to wake up at 6 or 7 a.m.? Nah, chief. There's a good yard. Probably can't see it because it's dark out. Disadvantage of being out here. There's a couple of mattresses right there. When I was little, I'd probably start jumping on those. But now, I don't want to contract a disease. I'm not saying the people living here have a disease, but I'm also saying that I'm not taking the chances either. Also, if anyone drives by and sees a 27-year-old jumping on mattresses by the side of the street late at night, it was probably not going to be the best look. But yeah, I do have to walk back. I don't want to go too far, but to walk back, Minnie here has a little bit more. She's got a little bit more energy than Beeg does. I think Minnie here is 10 or 11 now. So she's on the what's the politically correct way of saying it? She's at retirement age for a dog. I don't know what, like 70 in dog years. So, yeah. He got that 401k from all the jobs she didn't have. Minnie, I'm talking to you. You freeloader. Yeah. I don't know if you can see the sky, but it's nice and cloudy, nice and quiet. Got that good atmosphere. There's a rock. It's a good rock. Yeah. A lot of the times I'll ride my bike at nighttime. Real late at night, get out in the streets. Sometimes I'll listen to music. I did earlier today, right before I took Minnie here. I went riding my bike around. Sometimes I'll listen to music, other times I'm just perusing the streets. No cars, no idiots out, nice and cool, nice and quiet. yeah, get to be alone with my own demented thoughts. And I don't really have anything else to add to that. I kind of hit a dead end in the conversation. But there's another bun. Minnie, Minch, there's another bun over there. Get him. Get him, Minnie. Get him. Oh, gee, Minnie. Oh, now you see it. Get him. Think you lost him, Minnie. They got away, Minnie. I'm pretty sure Minnie here has claimed a few buns. Oh, about a month or two ago, I went down in the basement. You know, that's where my room is down there, and right outside my door was a dead rabbit. Its ear was ripped off. Wasn't that big of a mess, luckily, but looking back, I probably should, because the ear of the rabbit had been ripped off, and looking back, it probably would have been a little funny to have if I'd kept the rabbit's ear. Don't know what I would have done with it, but maybe I'd just sit it on the table and wait for someone to notice, but yeah, here comes someone. But yeah, any, huh? Like 3 police cars. Well, a police pickup truck and 2 police cars. And there was a guy sitting in the back of one of them. Not sure where they're going. The police station is back the other way, but you know. Whatevs. But, butts, it's starting to rain. Do I risk it? No, I don't. Let's go, Minnie. Well, I kind of a little unfortunate because I don't have anywhere to shelter myself and I don't want the phone to get wet. And also, I already watered the garden today. I didn't think it was going to rain. It wasn't supposed to. But not coming down too hard, so hopefully it won't. But yeah, and I don't remember what I was saying. I got interrupted there. But yeah, nice and quiet out still. Now it's coming down a little more. Well, this is what the people paid for me. I'm gonna try to get under that tree or something like that. Sit there for a bit and wait. That one. Looks like the clouds aren't that huge, so I'm not gonna... Probably won't last. Hopefully. Hopefully I don't just walk into a downpour. But this is probably the best shelter I'm getting. But yeah. Sit here for a minute. Admire the view. Admire the Minnie in the shadows. Minnie is the shadow. She is the dark of the night. The something the shadow knows. The Minnie knows. Minnie, step back like a foot. The world needs to behold the Minnie. Can't tell if it's still raining or not. Am I gonna risk it? Yeah, I'm gonna risk it. Let's go, Minnie. I think it just drizzled a little bit. I'm gonna cut over a street and head back. Maybe get some better scenery. Different scenery, whatever I'm saying. Well, looks like it's passing. Whatever it was. A little drizzle there. But yeah, I don't have a lot. I was gonna keep going. Had I not gotten rained on and I kept going down that one street, I would have gotten to I don't know what the business is there, but somewhere in that direction is this industrial compound, and they've got like an entire legion of semi trucks there. Think they do like setups for shows like concerts and stuff. They're the people that set up the show afterwards, building the set equipment and traveling with the bands or what have you. I almost worked there. I actually had an interview there once. We got a tour of the inside of the place. Looked kinda neat. Would have had an opportunity to get like with the band and go around. Didn't end up getting the job though, which probably a good thing looking back, because first of all, it required you to be there at 5 in the morning, and as previously discussed, my morning schedule is not to be getting up in the morning, so that and traveling currently is probably not a great idea given certain other personal things going on at the moment. What did they throw out, a kid? Jeez. Yeah. Have a lot of other stuff going on, so traveling around probably not a great idea, except this was like 2 or 3 years ago, I want to say, so yeah. I don't know I can't say how many concerts I've even been to. I want to say like 4, maybe. I don't know if I got hearing damage from them. I bet I got hearing damage from working at a warehouse, though. I guaranteed. Well, you wouldn't think so, but warehouse work is incredibly loud. Like, it's gotta be easily within the realm of prolonged hearing damage after a while, because I know I got hearing problems. I got that like ringing in my ears. Not loud or anything, but it's noticeable. Like if I'm sitting in a car or something like that. But sitting in an empty car and it's silent, but yeah, working at warehouses does a number on your hearing and probably other parts of your body, like the top shoulders of my back are really sore after a couple of months of doing that. At the last place I worked at the FedEx place, and that wasn't even the first warehouse I worked at, so yeah, but I had a problem with working at the FedEx is that you ever wonder, I think I talked about this before, but you go to wonder why your packages from FedEx are always smashed. Well, it's because they go into this it's a distribution place, not a warehouse, but it goes into this place and it goes up into the conveyor belts up like 3 stories, so they can, whoever's up there can, screw around and do whatever the fuck they do there. Then it goes down a chute and slams into a metal wall at the bottom, along with all the other packages in the place. And so you end up with giant piles of packages sitting there. And this is usually by the time you start the shift, like it pretty much at least 2/3 of the time when you start a shift, you walk into a trailer, because that's what I did there. I loaded trailers. Walk into a trailer at the beginning of the shift and it's a complete mess. Boxes on the floor, boxes on the conveyor belt, boxes are fucking everywhere. If you have a soft anything you're trying to ship in a box, yeah, don't do it in FedEx, because it's gonna be sandwiched between a ream of paper and a fucking lawn ornament or some shit. I don't know. This is a good yard here. Or they just forgot to build the house there. But yeah, I don't think I've ever actually ordered anything through FedEx before, but many I'm gonna take a little detour here. A brief detour. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in the dark, but this street here is actually kinda unique, so the disadvantage of going out at night is you can't see jack diddly squat, especially on a cheap phone camera. But you can't tell, but there's a giant yard here and there's this like garage separate, and oh, there we go. Now you can probably see a little better. But over there is a pond back there and it's surrounded by trees. This little bridge here, can't tell it's there because currently it looks like a void, but yeah, sometimes there's bullfrogs you can hear over there, but currently not yet. In fact, I haven't really heard too many bullfrogs anyway this year. Normally on the streets you find toads everywhere, and I haven't hardly seen any of them. Maybe that's part of the global warming, I don't know. Less toads. Except according to Donald and the gang, apparently global warming's a myth. Propagated by the reptoid lizard people in the deep state or whatever the fuck those idiots believe in. Probably just saying that so he can have an excuse to drill for oil and shit more. So he can have an excuse to ruin national parks so he can get more oil and, use up the last of the already limited oil supply of the world even quicker. But I don't know where I was going with that one, but anyway, I don't know what I was talking about before that, but a pill bug. There we go. That was necessary. You needed to see that. A true mad lad. Anyway, used to walk this way when I was but a wee lad. My house is a couple streets down that way, and down that way. I'm not walking over there though, because Minnie here has to walk all the way back to the car, and even the energetic, the legendary Minnie, even Minnie gets tired. Well, looks like the clouds have passed. It's like, I don't know, Thor came in briefly, took a quick look around, and then went on his way, I guess. A brief cameo appearance. I got fireflies too. Don't usually see those in town anymore. But Yeah, these are all the rich houses here. I don't know how well you can tell, but the ones are huge. They're like a couple rooms short of mansions, some of these ones. But yeah, this is this and over there is like the nice part of town. So older part of town too, even older than the other neighborhoods. And those people have an upright piano in their house too. Absolute, yeah, they have a piano. That's the point. But yeah, he used to live in the older part of the town. I guess you call it the poorer part of town. Back in the day, yeah, this is before they even installed sidewalks and a lot of this. I mean, this sidewalk was here, but outside of this street in downtown, they basically didn't have any sidewalks in back in the day. And so, are you good, Minnie? Anyway, they didn't have sidewalks back in the day, and a lot of the houses out there were rental houses. Lived right next to a rental house, so every couple of years you'd see new neighbors come in. Sometimes there'd be some neighbor kids that would show up, and yeah, sometimes you get idiots. There's this one guy who moved in who had one of those giant Harley Davidson motorcycles, and he would work on it in his garage, and he would run that thing, and he would be revving the engine and shit all day long, and he'd have the garage door open, and you wouldn't be able to hear yourself think outside when he's doing that. Like, I get people have hobbies and all that, and for some reason motorcycles need to not have mufflers on them because the bikers want to compensate or something. I don't know, but anyway, occasionally we'd have neighbor kids. Some of them were weirder than others, but that part of town didn't have they didn't have sidewalks there. And then in 2014, not 2014, 2008, the housing market crashed, and like half the houses were vacated for like 5 years or so. So the neighborhood kids, myself and a bunch of others, would have Nerf gun wars, later airsoft wars. But and it'd be great because you could go into all these different backyards and stuff, and no one would care because nobody was at the houses because nobody was living there. You could always tell what house it was because it had the red eviction notice that was left in the front door or the front window. Probably sucked for whoever it was living there, but it was made for some great terrain for Nerf gun wars and all that jazz. Also, right behind our house was a cornfield, and then they tore the cornfield up, and they were going to build a subdivision that kind of looks like the one living in now. And they started to build a few houses, and then the market crashed, and the whole place, that whole entire, like, basically like a chunk of the town was completely abandoned. And I mean, it was really abandoned. Like, there were excavators and bulldozers that were just left there, and they'd just be sitting there for like years, rotting away out there. There was this giant dirt hill that we used to climb and ride bikes and shit down it and all this stuff. Oh, my dad used to work there. It's a hospital, very small hospital. He used to work there before he went on disability. But anyway, that whole lot back there was completely abandoned for like a decade straight. And so there was like nothing but open fields and retention ponds that were full of algae and like half-built houses, shells, which would also be good for Nerf gun wars and all that, but now it's all built up. You know, they fixed the market, kind of, and they're currently in the process of screwing it up again, but yeah, there's some nicer houses, but yeah, and now it's all a subdivision behind me. What are you doing? Anyway, what was I saying? It's all a subdivision now, all built up. Honestly, I preferred it when it was just a lot of empty fields back there. But yeah, those were the early 2000s were my favorite decade out of the technically 4 decades I've been alive, except I was only around for 2 years in the 90s, so I don't know if you'd count that, but yeah, early 2000s were the good decade, probably because that's before I had to start giving a shit about anything. 2010s I was in high school and then I had to get jobs and all that crap. The second half of the 2010s was not a good time for me, but just in general, a lot of unresolved issues going on. Not gonna get into specifics. Many. You can't go running into people's gardens like that, Minnie. And if you do it again, if you do it again, you're getting a write-up, Minnie. But yeah. I wonder how much one of these houses costs, anyway. But, yeah. A lot of these are historical houses, too. Like, can't really tell, but a lot of them have, placards. Plaques on these little monuments in the front yard, and it'll say stuff like, in 1860 something or other, this house belonged to this guy who did these things. Because this town was founded way back in, I don't know the exact date, the 1840s, I want to say. And so, got all that. And there's a guy just parked on the street, and he's got his, Anyway, yeah, there's one over there. I don't know if you can see it, but some of the houses have them. Some of them are historical houses. Other ones are just regular houses, I guess. But yeah. I guess he was taking stuff from the curb. Going around looking for cool stuff to find in the trash. Nothing wrong with that. Actually, about a week or two ago, I actually got a whole ass grandfather clock that someone put out on the curb. Someone threw out a whole giant grandfather clock. I don't know if it works. It doesn't have weights on the bottom of the pendulum or the chain. Actually, it doesn't have a pendulum on it. It has chains, and there's no weights on the chains. But regardless, it still looks cool. It has the clock face on it. So, yeah, you can get some cool stuff off the curb sometimes. But, yeah. I took the grandfather clock, by the way, in case that was not clear. Because you don't just find something like that and then not take it. I mean, it's a free grandfather clock. I mean, who's gonna pass that up? But yeah, all that over there, that blinking thing, that big ass satellite tower, actually for the police station. That's a rock. But well, yeah, I just think that tower looks cool. But yeah, there's downtown again. I'm gonna end up cutting off right before we get into downtown because I don't want to. They got signs with this town name on it, and I don't want to dox myself. Not that it matters. I don't think the 4chan's gonna try to use satellites or planes and star signs to triangulate my location or whatever they do. But yeah, there you get more night sky footage, maybe. But yeah, I guess I cut it off here then. But yeah, so that's there. Can end it with unseeable footage of Minnie. Minnie, say something. Classic.